We're the Worcester Telegram and Gazette web analytics team. And so first of all, what we wanted to start off today by doing, which is just kind of introducing ourselves. My name is Jonathan Seppo. I'm a convergence journalism major here at Mizzou. And as Mike mentioned, this is part of a capstone project for us. My partner over here is Vanita Rizvich, who you'll hear from a little bit later. She's a social media whiz. And over here is Caroline Elliott. She's part of a class with Brad from the back. And Brad's class has been helping us out with all this. We've gotten a lot of numbers. Analytics is a very broad field, and so we need a lot of help getting a lot of this just legwork done to actually get all these numbers. One quick note, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to present you specific numbers from Worcester due to privacy issues with them, but we're going to present you some sample data as we go along, and we'll mark that as we go along. So the first thing we really wanted to get started today talking about is just what is web analytics. And we'll go over this really quickly. Good definitions of it is that it helps companies evaluate their website and how the website interacts with the target audience. So really just basic, just finding out more about a user and figuring out what the user uses the website for and how the website is interacting with the public and whether or not it's actually achieving the goals that the company wants to achieve from that. Another part of analytics deals with Vanita's specialty, social media, and measuring more of the impact coming from social media, Facebook, Twitter, any sort of social media that's popping up. A lot of these things, like Pinterest just added analytics, free analytics to its actual database. And so a lot of these things are kind of really just kind of starting off. Twitter is not the best right now in terms of analytics, but all these things are things that are very important, but things that are also kind of going to take a little bit of time to actually go with. So how do we use analytics? Well, first of all, we kind of have to define our target audience. So we have to look at who exactly we're looking for. Are we looking at a specific age demographic? Are we trying to appeal to a specific gender? Are we trying to, maybe our numbers on analytics are a little bit low for males, so what do we do to bump that up? All these things go into how we're using our analytics. And going along with that, you have to really define your goals. You have to know what you're looking for. It's really hard to take all this data, and we'll show you examples of the data later that we collect, but we've got endless amounts of data, just a ton. We've got more than we need. And so what we have to do is we have to pare that down and figure out why and how. And so one of the things we have to do is define our goals. Like, what do you want out of this data? Do you want to increase ad revenue? We can do that. Do you want to look at a target audience, focus more on that? We can do that. There's just endless amounts of stuff we can do. And so another question you can ask yourself is, what else are you doing to push your brand and advertise? And so we can look at different strategies, and we can test strategies. This is one of the big benefits of analytics, is we can kind of do a trial run for a couple weeks and figure out did that strategy work? Was it helpful? Did it get us above our goal? Did it meet our goal? Why didn't it meet our goal? We can do a lot of theories and have a lot of things coming off of this just because of analytics. So I'm going to turn this over to Caroline Elliott. She's going to tell you about search engine optimization, or SEO.
Okay, so one of the aspects of SEO is title tags that appear at the top of your browser or on your tab, and it is the title of the web page. So this should have the company name or like a specific keyword on that page so that it's recognizable to the user. This is an important factor to reach more search engine results and rankings, and then this can generate quick results with an easy change. So this is an example of the Worcester site and how on the job is actually labeled Business 01 in their title tag at the very top. And this is also consistent in their destination URL at the second box. So this should actually be changed to on the job or business section on the job or something of that, so it's more relevant to the searcher and the search engine can pick up on those keywords. And then this is a keyword search for Worcester local news. So as you see, their competitor is at the top, and then it's followed by the Worcester homepage, and then the local news, which is actually closer to matching the keyword search. So you want that third result to show up before their homepage. So an easy way to do this is to change the description or make the display URL, which is the green URL, more descriptive or more relevant to the local search so that search engines can pick up on this and rank it higher because it is more relevant to the searcher's search. And then ranking isn't everything. So even though they're ranking #1 here for high school spring statistics, this isn't meaning that they're taking them to the right page necessarily when the user clicks on this link. So this is the page that the results head to, which is the home team homepage. So you really want to take them to this page because it is the actual spring stats that the user is searching for on Google.
Thank you very much, Caroline. So one thing I unfortunately forgot to mention is that all these people that are working with us from Brad's class are divided into different categories. So Caroline's working with another girl and doing the SEO, search engine optimization, looking at how Wooster can better implement that into their website. We also have a design team looking at the website design, going through seeing how the website design can better promote Wooster, can better just make the website appeal more to their target audience. We also have a mobile team looking at the use of tablet or just smartphones on this website. So we got a lot of data coming in from these different places. One of the other teams is focusing on Adobe Site Catalyst. So this is how we're kind of what we're using to gather all our data. And so what we wanted to do is just give you an idea of what kinds of data we can gather. This is really bare bones, but one of the obvious things that you can gather from this is page views. Now this is not this is just sample data from page views. It doesn't actually mean anything, but you can get this off of Adobe Site Catalyst, and it really does help you look at things and determine, whether or not a page is popular. Are you getting page views to it? Are people coming to it? Why aren't they coming to it? And then you can go further into that from page views. You can look at average time on page. How much time are they spending? Are they just going there and going, don't like that, clicking off? We can see that reflected in the average time on page. So all these things we can just glean and just see how these stories and how individual pages are performing on the website. Also, we can look at geo-segmentation. This is going to be really important when we're talking about advertising, because a lot of advertisers like to see a local geo-segmentation. They don't like to, if you're the from Worcester, Massachusetts, and you're getting a lot of views out of Pittsburgh, it's good, really good. But local advertisers are not really going to care about stuff from Pittsburgh. And so this is really beneficial to just break down your traffic and see, okay, well, we're doing really well from Pittsburgh. Why, A? And B, how do we get better at getting more people from, say, Boston, right near Worcester? We can also look at devices. So we talked about the mobile a little bit. So we can look at what specific devices you have. You have the iPad, you have an iPhone. You can break it down by Android, And then this also helps us with designing stuff for these different platforms. Say we're high on the iPad, great. But why are we low in Android? Is it optimized for Android? Maybe, maybe not. So seeing all these different data can help us just get a broad sense of where we should go from wherever we're starting at. And then page flow. Page flow is one of the cool things about Adobe Site Catalyst. Vinny and I worked last semester with the Columbia Missourian using Google Analytics. And page flow is one of the things that doesn't translate over from Google Analytics. Google Analytics does not give you the ability to see this as well. But you can see here on the sample data, we have the homepage, right? 100% of these people are coming in for the homepage. So we're just looking at the homepage and how people are navigating the site. So about 20% of the people are going to go to children's and toys, 15% to women's, 12% to men's. This is not a newspaper website, obviously, with the sample data. But when we look at this broken down by a newspaper or a media outlet, we'd like to see something like local news up there, with 20, 25, maybe a little bit more. Obituaries, big thing, especially for an online newspaper. And so we can just kind of look at and see how they're doing. And, that'll tell us whether or not it's ranked highly enough on the homepage. Are people seeing what they're supposed to be seeing, what we want them to see on that homepage? Or are they clicking on something that we really didn't want them to click on, and they're just going in through that? And then we can also go to a third level here and see where they go from there. So say we had something that we didn't want them to click on as much. Maybe sports. Maybe we want them to click on local news more than sports. They're clicking on sports. So we can see what they're clicking on after sports. Maybe, they're clicking on sports and somehow getting back to local news on the next page. We don't know. So we can just kind of look at our navigation, see if the navigation's clear, see if we're missing anything, and just optimize our page so that people actually get where they want to go in a really time-efficient manner and make it stress-free to actually go through the site. So now we're going to turn it over to Vanita, and she's going to tell you a little bit about Facebook and Twitter.
Okay, so as Jonathan mentioned earlier, social media plays an important role when measuring analytics. For our project, we've been using Facebook Insights and Chartbeat to measure Facebook and Twitter analytics. We weren't able to actually show you a screenshot of Worcester's Facebook Insights, but under Facebook Insights, you're able to look at the demographics of the people visiting your Facebook page, things such as their age or their location, which in turn helps you tailor your content a little better for that. Some things to keep in mind about Facebook when posting: make sure to always use an interesting description and a photo, a creative headline. This is an example from Worcester's Facebook, which received 741 likes and 774 comments. This one here could use a little bit of improvement. Make sure you're always actively posting instead of just sharing links, boring headlines, and there's no photo here. People always flock to the photos on a Facebook page. For Twitter, always make sure to shorten your links and make good use of hashtags. This one here did not do a very good job of that. If you shorten your links, it gives you more room to write whatever you'd want to write in your tweet. Also, always make sure that you're actively tweeting instead of just retweeting things on your Twitter account. And as I mentioned earlier, always make sure you're posting photos or tweeting photos. People always enjoy photos more than they like to read a really long description of a story or something. Do you want to? That's it.
That's it. Cool. Yeah. All right. So when we were talking about analytics, we kind of talk about this and realize that a lot of people are starting to implement analytics. And so there's really two big questions going on in the analytics world. First of all, how do we use this data? We already kind of dealt with that, went through all this stuff. But probably more importantly is why, and what's this going to get us? And so one of the first things it can get us is it can use our data, uses data to make the website more user-friendly. We talked about this. If you can make the user experience better, people are more likely to return to your site. They're more likely to come back and for their sports news, their local news, whatever. If you make it extremely easy for them to get the information, they'll reward you by coming back. Also, it gets us a chance to examine our visitors. So this is something newspapers have been doing for a long time. We want to know who exactly is reading our stuff. And so this is the kind of new way to do that online, is we get to look at who actually is reading us. Are we getting a lot of females reading us? Why? Are we getting a lot of males reading us? Why? Are females, reading the local section more than males? Why? All these kinds of questions can go into our thinking, and then from that we can kind of make theories and try different approaches and say we wanted more males to read local news. We can try different things to try to get males more interested in local news. And just knowing our audience allows us to tailor our content better for our audience. And then, like I was saying, you tailor your content to the visitors. Finally, the biggest thing probably is you can use that to bring in more revenue. And so you can use all this data and compile it together to show advertisers and media companies what they're doing wrong and how they can, how they can make a little bit more money from what they're doing. So we're compiling a list. Brad's class is doing a great job compiling numbers of, how many more page views different tweets can get us, and therefore how much revenue we could possibly see through implementing some things that are all sparked by knowing the data coming from analytics. So when we know the data coming from analytics, we can do a whole host of things that just allows us to have a better media company and just do a better job overall. So with that, that's the end of our presentation. We got about 5 minutes left for questions if you guys have any.
I'll start with one, or it's a kind of a compound question. When are you presenting the real results to the Worcester paper? What has been their reaction so far to the work you've done for them, and are you finding significant revenue opportunities from them?
Sure. So first of all, we're doing that next Thursday. We're going to have 2 representatives from Worcester here at the J School, and we're going to be talking to them about some of these recommendations that we're having. The second part of your question, what was that again, Mike?
What kind of reaction have they had with your work so far?
We've really talked. We had a good conference call with them. They seem very open to implementing some of these things that we're trying to just recommend that they implement. We haven't presented all the findings that we've done lately with them, so we'll see how they take to the actual findings. You know, these are all just recommendations that they can take or leave. In terms of finding significant sources of revenue, we are actually finding some really big significant sources of revenue. Website designs had some really high revenue marks that they could be that they could help implement on. Mobile's doing very well. So all different things that we can really help them through advertising. So.